Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Mxbikes video, and we are out here for round 9 Sweden MXGP, and this one is pretty eventful. Actually, got a really awesome layout in my opinion on this track. Definitely going to be rough, but rather smooth than considering from a lot of the other tracks that we have ridden this year. Definitely a rough one. We know the E-Road's going to break down, but yeah, this SPX suspension definitely working pretty good. And as per usual, Monday night ordeal, just getting back from work pretty much, and having about a whole 3 laps on the track as per usual right before the qualifier. And well, not for nothing, but it definitely shows when you don't have any time beforehand to ride the track at all. But coming up here on the end of our season, with only 10 rounds in the scheduled program here at round 9. And yeah, kind of just snaking it in on this one, to say the least, guys. Literally ended up qualifying in the very last Pro-Am spot available. Didn't unfortunately make the A, and we just squeezed by to get in for the B, rounding out the top 80. So definitely by the hair of the chin for sure. No practice on the track whatsoever. Pretty much just ran the 10-minute practice before the quali, and was able to run a half decent time. Actually ran the time on the Yamaha. Wasn't comfortable enough with it. We pretty much get on this game maybe 1 to 2 days a week. So KTM, old reliable, whipped back out, board sideways. Let's lock it in, boys. Round 9, Sweden MXGP. Off to a decent start, so I think. And the Yami's just gonna... I have no words for that one, guys. I mean... Like, I guess homie never let off. Just bike kind of slid into me. Now I'm going to get absolutely trampled by the rest of the field with the Poboso bounce. Typical MXGP start fashion. Going to get cut off. You name it. Man, you know, between amateurs to now being in the Pro-Am, some things, unfortunately, just don't change for me. But it's only up from here, boys. So let's push through our graphics card lag, because for whatever reason this track gave us so much of that. And let's throw down a good moto for you boys. So we got that horrific first lap out of the way, and those of you guys who have not seen my last video, for whatever reason, as of round 8, I just, for whatever reason, have this horrific FPS drop that I keep experiencing in the game. I really don't know why. I'm still trying to hunt down why all of a sudden at the end of the season I'm struggling so bad with this lag. But basically what's happening is, what you guys can't see is on my screen, the recording always ends up being smooth, but on my screen, basically it's like going from 60 FPS to like 4. So I come into like a turn or whatever the section is, and my game will pretty much speed up and slow down on its own regardless of how fast I'm going, if that makes any sense. So very, very difficult to ride. That's kind of why, as of the last race, kind of been lacking. And because of the issue, whether I'm recording or not, it seems to be pretty persistent. And even in the pub lobbies, I'm starting to notice it. So not sure if something's going on with the PC, the game. I don't know if any of you guys are experiencing it too, but I just cannot play like that. That's for sure. Definitely a more difficult thing to deal with, and unfortunately nothing I can do about it in the current moment. So just kind of pushing through it, trying to salvage some points. For some reason with that, obviously being in the way, really struggled here. We ended up running like one more lap after the quali. I switched over to the KTM and said, you know what? Let me see if the old reliable is better than the Yami. Now, the whole reason we were even on the Yami is because I'm really kind of feeling like switching to it for AMA Outdoors, which is coming up here in a couple weeks. I'm really excited for that and to be done with this MXGP stuff. But yeah, long story short, ended up doing one lap on this track right after the qualifier was done, just to see if the KTM was going to be a better fit, and I literally ended up running a 4-second faster lap time than I did previously on the Yami in my qualifier. So long story short, the decision was pretty evident that switching to the KTM was probably going to be a good move for me. Unfortunately, the other KTM riders here on the track don't know how to hold their line, but that's all right. You're going to have that on these jobs. And yeah, let's just run it back up as best we can to the front and try to salvage what's left of this championship. as you guys can see, I'm starting to get a little bit inconsistent, unfortunately. That's kind of why I was riding the Yamaha beforehand. For some odd reason, what I love about this KTM is the stability. Now, the problem with the KTM stability, though, is that I just can't throw it and shoot it into a line exactly how I do with the Yamaha, which I feel like I'm kind of faster on the Yamaha when it comes to corner speed and stuff like that. But as you can see, the problem I'm dealing with, though, with the KTM is just this, it's like this weird front end wash problem, like off of like higher impacts and stuff like that. I'm sure maybe some of you better players probably know that already. A little bit of downsides with the bike, but all in all, I did switch to it because generally I'm a lot more stable and and consistent. So when there's a stable bike, it's a consistent bike, and that's kind of what I was going for here, because that seems to be what I struggle with the most in the game, and what's honestly held back my results quite a bit as of lately, especially dealing with the lag like I mentioned before. So yeah, between the two problems, really thinking about switching it over. But the thing is, on the upside of the KTM, I guess I forgot where the track was going here. The upside with the KTM is, though, with the SPX suspension setup, I feel like there was just way more R&D put into the KTM, as it is the fastest 250, as all of you know. So naturally, I kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and SPX kind of had the suspension package to kind of back that. I feel like they spent a lot more time with this bike in particular than the other bikes. So yeah, the setups you can download or pay for, a lot more R&D involved. Feel like the bike handles way better with a setup on it than other bikes. So kind of just staying on it for right now. That definitely may change, though, for the next one, as I just absolutely love the way the Yamaha corners, and I feel like it suits my riding a little bit better. But yeah, like I said, the only downside with the stability that I was struggling with on the bike is that it kind of almost fights you. It kind of doesn't let you do what you want to do because the bike is that stable. Like I said, definitely a solid option, definitely takes some getting used to, but in my downtime I have been using the other bikes, and kind of wasn't used to the KTM again. So definitely was kind of adjusting to that during this race as well. And coming around the halfway point now, and doing what we can. We'll see where we can climb up inside the top 10. So, I mean, not looking too bad. Now this was an absolute cluster. I messed with a bunch of settings before this race trying to help the lag. As you guys can see, I don't have the controller on the bottom left for you guys, that interactive display of exactly what I'm doing. And at this point, I'm just trying to like screw with the screen and stuff like that, and try to get this to work better, my whole race just really starts falling apart between riders that just keep bumping me and stuff like that, and then the FPS is just absolutely killing me right now. It comes and goes in waves, so like most of the race so far it's been pretty dealable with, and then now it's just later into the race, you know, timing and scoring adjusting, all the cuts coming into play, max HUD trying to work, just all these different things in the background going on. It all of a sudden starts to bug out. I don't know if it's a temperature issue. I have no idea what's going on, but it could be fine for, you know, half the race or something like that, and then really start acting up near the end. And it's definitely starting to do so, as you saw the absolute piss poor performance there with 4 wrecks there in a row in approximately less than 10 seconds. So definitely not good. As you guys can see, I'm just losing time, and I am fighting for my life right now. I am, as you can tell, can't even stay in a line. The FPS is really starting to bug out, and I don't know if you guys ever, definitely comment below if you guys have ever played with that or experienced the same problems that I do. You know, I guess I don't have a super top tier PC, but I definitely have one good enough that shouldn't be a problem to run a game like this. But the way they are making the tracks now, the detail in them and everything else, it's definitely going to put a little bit of a strain on your PC, considering how the tracks used to be made, which is all good though. I mean, I'd love to see the detail in the track up, and all the settings and stuff you could do with the shaders and all that. Really make this game stand out now. When I look back at my old videos, and the game literally looked black and white before reshade and all that. So definitely love the advancements of the game, making it more realistic and better graphics and all that. But the downside is I might have to spend some dinero on getting some new PC parts and getting this thing back up to speed, because I think that we've kind of been hitting the limits a little bit with how much my PC can actually handle. But yeah, desperately trying to fight. I mean, we're down to like P16 when we were just inside the top 10 a couple laps ago, so not looking good. We're losing time, we're getting more and more sketchy with the FPS, and we're just trying to be a little bit more conservative and slowly be more consistent to get the spots rather than be faster than the guy in front of me, because there's only one way we're going to get back inside that top 10, and that's not being on the ground. So coming in here, white flag lap, and as you guys can tell, not going well at all. It just seemed to be pretty much just getting worse, and now we're dealing with the E-road on top of it, and yeah, naturally it becomes very, very difficult to pretty much make this work. But we are charging, I mean, all or nothing lap here, obviously this being Moto 1, so we're gonna push up to see how far up we can actually make it. We need all the points we can get, and we ended up turning off the stream or the recording rather, for Moto 2, and I believe we finished in like a 7th or 8th place spot. So a lot better finish for Moto 2, and turning the recording off definitely helped the lag issue quite a bit. But as you guys can see, absolutely gonna throw it away here right at the end, and I am just raging, guys. I am just so mad, just so ready to be back outdoors, not normal outdoors. Just one more week of the MXGPs, guys, and I just honestly, as much as I enjoy racing on this game, I just cannot wait to get back into the States, and because these MXGPs were never for me. I've always done really bad at them, and honestly, just the fact that I even was able to be in Pro-Am this year kind of was a blessing, because I've just never strived with these tracks whatsoever. But round 9 in the books, and we are going to come away with P11 just outside of the top 10. Not terrible considering where we were, but make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll catch you guys at the next one. Peace.